I grew up in a small town in Northern California, Ukiah by name, and was 10 years and 2 months old when World War II started. So, which was hot shit. I mean, biggest event that happened since, I guess, Wall Street crash in 1929. And but there was servicemen coming home, and they'd have a little tattoo bespectacled here and everything else. And I was in my testosterone development period, and thought they were hot shit. So tattoos meant adventure, travel. They'd been out of the valley, all the way to Frisco at least. And so that's what tattoos are to me. I mean, they're like travel marks. They're like putting stickers on your luggage. So in 1946, I did. Took a day trip on the Greyhound bus, went down to St. Big City. Wasn't a runaway. My parents were, knew where I was at. And because I was really not a rebellious kid or everything else, because I think people get tattooed or suffer from rebellion and all this shit. But while I was down there, I did stumble across the tattoo shop and went back and looked at all the little pictures on the wall and everything else. And the guy tattooing says, "What in the hell do you want?" And I went, and pointed at one and had it on in 2-3 minutes. And God, I was sitting there and I got this heart with mother, and that guy just flashed that son of a bitch on there so quick, you know, the fastest rite of passage that you ever went through. And I know going home that night on the bus, it was dark, riding out through the country, and I was holding my arm up trying to get some ambient light because I could feel it. And it was tender, but I couldn't see it. And then they'd go into a little town, and which buses do, they go here and there and everything. So I'd get some light off the street lights, and I'd see it, and it was there. Of course, we'd leave town, and I'd lose it. It's like blind people, you know, they love their tattoo till they can't find it anymore. So that I went home, and goddamn, I was right here, hot stuff, you know. Kids were all amazed, you know, everything. But I got admonished from a few parents. Inadvertently, they would make some kind of a sly remark about it because of the stigma on tattooing. So that was my first tattoo.
So we go to Cliff's, and Michael's getting his tattoo, and I'm looking at all the flash on the walls. And imagine this happening today. You know, just imagine what your response would be. If a woman came in and saw a little clipper ship on the flash and said, "Oh, that symbolizes freedom and, you know, the highway and, you know, the adventure and everything that I'd come to associate tattooing with," and put it right here on my thigh. That's what I wanted, this tiny little clipper ship right here, symbolizing my heart and my true nature. And they told me, "No, you can't get that." And I said, "Why?" And they said, "You're a girl. That's not a girl's design. That's a man's design. Women can't get that design. What you can," and I said, "Well, what am I supposed to get?" And they said, "Well, you can get a rabbit or a squirrel or a skunk named Stinky." And I said, "Well, I'm from a farm. I'm not getting any of those yard varmints on me. You know, a skunk named Stinky, are you kidding me?" So I had to go home without my tattoo that night.
I always say the first place to get a good tattoo is right up here. For guys, you know, you can enjoy yourself. It's easy to heal, and then you can kind of step in easy to the tattoo world.
My first tattoo was done by this little old man in Tacoma, Professor Rex. And at that time, that was like the early 70s, I got like a design on my arm because it was like the type of shop where you would walk in and you would pick something off the wall and you would just get it. And I didn't really want a rose because it was too generic or something. So I decided to get a skull with bat wings. Well, anyway, after I got the skull with bat wings and wore that for a year or two, you know, I used to get ostracized, and when I used to take the bus to work, people would try to pick fights with me and everything.
Tattoos weren't very big back then, and it was overpriced. It was over how much to charge. And I was afraid of the pain because of all the myths about how much they hurt and everything. So I didn't want to get in over my head. Like I said, I was in a bad part of town. These guys had some 38s tucked under their belt, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. So I got a little one, a little rose, and it was just out of just wanting to dip my toe in the water. And then before they even had that halfway done, I picked a big dragon off the wall with a lot of black shading. I was really drawn to. It was supposed to be a cover-up, but it was a big black acetate hanging on the wall there, and then they had a painting of it, and I loved that black shading on there. He said, "Oh no, that's a cover-up. You got tattoo fever. Come back tomorrow." Well, hell, they made some money. I think they had to go get a bag of weed or something. They had a date, you know, so they didn't want to tattoo a big one that day. So I went back. I think I was on a Friday. I came back on a Saturday, and I had tattoo fever. Unfortunately, I just ran out of money. I probably would have been still in Cincinnati all tattooed up. It's just, I think it takes a reckless individual. It's a point of reckless abandon, you know. It's like you guys travel a lot, and, you know, sometimes you just kind of got to walk that direction, you know, just give it up, you know, and you'll figure it all out, you know. So I think that's a cool step in tattooing, just surrendering a little to this fear.